Welcome to Game Nights with JR. I'm JR, and I'm here to introduce the April feature games for you. April is my wife Amanda's birthday month, and so I invited her to choose our featured games for this month. And I'm a little biased, but I think she did a bang up job. So these are some of her absolute favorite games. Not all of them, because some of her very favorite games just really aren't great for the game nights events settings, but all of the games she picked are really fun, and I think you'll get a good sense of her personality through them. Of course, you can catch all of these set up and ready to play at our Game Night with JR events that are coming up all through the month of April. So if any of them catch your eye, let us know in the comments and then show up at one of our events so that you can play with us. Is the Mind. This game plays with up to 4 people, and it is quite a trip. It's a very, very simple setup. There are 100 cards numbered 1 to 100, and in round one, each person gets 1 card. In round two, each person gets 2 cards. In round three, each person gets 3 cards, and so on and so on and so on. When the round begins, everyone simply has to lay down their cards in ascending order from 1 to 100. So if I have a 3, and I'm pretty sure I'm the one that's going to go first, I'm going to put down that 3 first. If I have, like, I don't know, a 72, that means I'm probably going to be waiting a minute before I set down my card. The trick to this game is you're not allowed to communicate with anyone. You're not allowed to do verbal cues. You're not allowed to do anything nonverbal, like nothing like that, right? With zero communication, you have to work together to place your cards in ascending order. It is a maddeningly simple game that is nearly impossible to make it through because with 4 people, you have to make it through 8 rounds. That means eventually there's going to be 48 cards out there. Was that right? 4 times 8? No, 32 cards out there. Sorry, I'm trying to do math on the fly, and look what happened, right? But with 32 cards out, that means almost one of every 3 numbers is going to be somewhere in someone's hand, and you're having to play through them together. If I have 26 and you have 27, we have no way to know that until one of us tries to put the cards down. This game is so much fun. You will not believe how clever it feels once you start playing, and it becomes addictive. When you're at level 5 and you're almost finished, and then someone messes up and you lose your last life, you immediately want to deal the cards again just to make it to level 6. I've never played this game with someone that they didn't immediately want to play it over and over and over again. And it's a good thing it's a short game because there's going to be a lot of attention coming for this at our April game nights. Next up is a weird little game called Finger Guns at High Noon. This is a party game. I think it'll play up to 10 or 12 people, but everyone's in the Wild West. And when everyone counts to 3, you have to make a hand motion. That can be anything from shooting someone or blowing them up with dynamite. There's all kinds of different things you can do. And then the various actions are scored in order in which they happen. So if I'm trying to shoot you and you have a dynamite, or I think this is the dynamite, right? At someone, the shooting happens before the dynamite goes off. So if I shoot someone who's trying to blow up with dynamite, it doesn't happen. So it ends up being a sort of a last person standing. I don't know if you can tell on the card, but there's life tracker around the edges and things like that. So it becomes a really tense game. And the nice thing about it is if you do end up dying, you actually come back as a ghost. So just because you're eliminated doesn't mean you're totally eliminated. And believe it or not, there's actually even a way for the ghosts to win, though it's pretty difficult. So this is a hilarious game. It's very silly. It's very fun. You can play it for 3 minutes, or you can end up playing it for an hour, screaming at each other for the people that are trying to dynamite you or power shot you, or the people who refuse to get in a posse with you no matter how many times they said they were going to and then lied about it when it came time to pull the trigger. Finger Guns at High Noon is rip roaring hilarity. I guess I should say rootin' tootin' hilarity, right? So you'll definitely want to make sure you get a spot around the table for this one at game nights in April. Next up is the Quacks of Quedlinburg. Yes, this has already been a feature game relatively recently, and Amanda almost didn't pick it because of that. But I told her that was fine because this is maybe our favorite game of hers that we own. Quacks of Quedlinburg, if you haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, is a press your luck game where everyone competes as a wizard or a witch who is in town for a potions festival, and you spend 9 days, which is 9 rounds, trying to make you the best potion you can by drawing ingredients out of a bag. And if you get a certain number of the white ingredient, which is garlic, right? You want a lot of it, but not too much of it. Then your pot spoils and you don't get to score as many points for that day. Quacks is basically a perfect game. The press your luck mechanism is incredibly clever. It's got a really good weight of punishment so that you don't want to bust your pot, but if you do, it's really not the end of the game. In fact, there have been games that I've busted 3 or 4 out of the 9 rounds and still managed to come in first or second place. So it does penalize you, but it doesn't end the game. It doesn't feel like you can't risk when you really just need one more ingredient to get that good score. There's also so many different ingredients, and you have to shop for them, which means you can't choose everything. So you really have to commit to a strategy, and that can change every time you play. So yeah, this is just a beautiful game. It's incredibly silly art, and I don't love the name, but it won Game of the Year for a reason. It's brilliant, and if you haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, try to grab a table with Amanda because she shouts a lot when she plays this one, as many of you have already experienced. I remember when I got Dungeon Derby from Kickstarter, it sat on my shelf for probably 3 or 4 months just because, I mean, look at this box. It's nothing very sexy, is it? It looks pretty boring. The game inside could not be more different. This is a racing game where each player has a particular racer that's your color, right? The thing about this is, however, this is ultimately not a racing game but a betting game. So while I have, they say, the red racer and you have the green racer, and then they over there have the blue racer, it's entirely possible that rather than betting on my racer, I bet on your racer, which then means that before the race starts and we get to play various spells or armor or things like that that are taken from like Dungeons and Dragons, I could be hurting my own racer and helping your racer if that's who I bet on. The betting component makes this so different from other racing games. It makes it a lot more layered and a lot more nuanced. And then you race by rolling dice. So there's one die that's the number and one die that's the color. And if, red 3 comes up, you move red 3. And if green 2 comes up, you move green 2. This is pure chaos. There is so much shouting and backstabbing and trickery going on in this game. It's hilarious and it's super fun. I could not believe how much of a joy this game is to play. And again, everyone we've ever played it with just delights in it. It's a pretty hard game to find, and I'm not sure why because it is so much fun. Hey, design team, maybe it's the boring box art. Just a tip. Anyway, this is going to be at the April Games, and it plays up to 6. And honestly, the more players, the better. So you'll want to play this one at a full table because it will be thrilling and hilarious. Deception, I think it's Murder in Hong Kong, is a really interesting social deduction game where everyone is playing as a team of forensic crime scene investigators, not forensic psychologists. And one of them is the person who did the murder, and then also the person who's giving the clues knows that. Anyway, the theme kind of falls apart pretty quickly, but the game is so much fun to play, it really doesn't matter. One person is giving the clues, and they're trying to get all of the forensic investigators to guess who did the murder and how. So there's a particular murder weapon and then a particular other thing in the scene, and you've got to guess both of those things. One person did the murder and contributed those two things, and then everyone else is just trying to figure it out. And so the reason this game is so interesting is because the person who has to give the clues is limited to the questions that the people who are investigating the crime scene are allowed to ask them, and they come on these cards. So sometimes there's a perfect question that comes up that lets you give a vital piece of information. More often than not, the questions are like okay or even completely useless, and there's no way for me as the clue giver to tell the people who are investigating the crime scene that that's the case. So it ends up being a really interesting kind of whodunit. it's really not anything like Clue or some of those other whodunit games. It really feels unique in a clever and interesting way. And then adding the social deduction element in there, having this one person who's part of the conversation who's subtly trying to throw everyone off, but not being too obvious about it because then everyone will know they did it. Again, this is one of those games that people want to play over and over and over again. Often, people want to take turns as the clue giver once they kind of get the hang of the game. It's really a lot of fun. And I don't know that I've played another game that is very much like this one. It also feels pretty unique, which is interesting in a social deduction scenario. So anyway, yeah, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong is going to be at our April game nights, and I think you'll love it. Our last feature game is Azul. This is another game that Amanda absolutely loves. In fact, so I didn't buy it for a long time because it looked so plain and boring. It is an abstract game, and it's basically one where you're drafting tiles and placing them onto a board, trying to create certain patterns. But it won Game of the Year, and it kept getting all of this buzz. So finally, I broke down, especially because I think you can get this for like 15 bucks at this point. So I bought it. We played it and played it 2 or 3 times, really liked it. It was really interesting. But then the next day, Amanda looked at me and she was like, I can't quit thinking about that game. We need to play it again. She's a very visual person, and I found that to be the case. A lot of people who really are visually minded just love Azul. It's the artwork, it's the patterns, it's the way that the colors and the patterns lend themselves to a deep, deep, deep strategy. And there's just because you're drafting, there's the tiniest little bit of player v player interactions where another player can really sabotage your master plan and cost you some serious points before the end of the game. This is a game that takes 5 minutes or less to learn, and will one of those, I hate to say it this way because it's a cliche but it's true, takes a lifetime to master. It is very hard to be a master at Azul. It's pretty easy to be good at it, but man, there's so much depth to this game, which is crazy because of how simple it is. We also picked up an expansion for this one that has these little overlays that make everything fit and stay on your board. So playing this at the April game nights is going to be an even more tactilely delicious experience for you. Okay, that's all of the feature games, but I did want to let you know what the player's choice game for this month is. Now, if you've noticed, my voice is a little bit scratchy, and that's why this video is so late. I've had a cold for the last week and a half, and I was really wanting to record this sooner, but I sounded like a frog, and so because of that, it meant that our Patreon subscribers had the chance to finish voting on the April's player's choice game, and that is this beautiful, beautiful game, Canvas. This is a game where you're creating works of art, and it's using transparent overlay cards that you lay on top of each other to create this amazing, beautiful pieces of art. And then you get to showcase them. So we like to be real pretentious about it and use your little names and stuff like that. But you're actually trying to complete works of art that fulfill various mechanical requirements that are laid out at the beginning of the game. Things like composition or color diversity or things like this. Again, there's sort of several you can choose from at the outset of the game. So you're not just trying to pick things that go well together. You're also trying to make sure that you're composing pieces of art that satisfy the judging requirements. It's really cool. It's a really fun little game. You really do feel like a little artist creating stuff together. And again, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. So it's just a really a delight and a joy to play. Really excited that the patrons chose this one for our player's choice for the April games. I think you'll really like it too. So make sure you get a chance to play Canvas. Okay, well, there you have it. We have a ton of events in April, so I hope you're able to come out to several of them so you can play all of these fantastic games. If you have any questions about any of the games, of course, you can drop those in the comments. Otherwise, head over to our events page so you can see which events are coming up near you, and I look forward to seeing you at a game night in April. Of course, don't forget when you see Amanda to wish her a happy birthday.